I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these big strokes.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back with a post-Labor Day edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. We are at the start of the NFL season, college football's in season. We got the European soccer leagues back. Basketball's coming out soon. Hockey's starting soon.
NASCAR playoffs.
NASCAR playoffs. I haven't forgotten. You know how much we talk about NASCAR around these parts. It's a exciting sports time, and MMA just continues to chug along. And we experienced something in 2019, which candidly, I don't think any of us saw coming. A year ago, 6 months ago. We'll get into that as we break through that China card momentarily. But this week I am joined by the usual suspects. We got the Canadian teenager, the Wayne Gretzky apologist. It's never been the same in Edmonton since. Sean, how are you? We'll start there.
I'm doing well. Like you said, everything's starting to heat up. We're kind of past the dog days of summer, and it's about to heat up. It's a great time to be a sports fan.
Oh, well, that was short and sweet. I guess that's how you Canadians like it. On the other side, we got the Kentucky gentleman, Whiskey Row, the Sodsman. The grass is blue on the other side. I don't know how the football team is this year, but I'm sure he's going to tell us. The Sodsman, Wes Colvin, how's it going?
Yeah, doing good, man. It's getting into that time of year. Sports everywhere. Got the brick and mortar sports book opening up around my parts here in about 7-8 days or so. So that's going to be a change into what I'm used to for about 20 years now. So good stuff going on, man. Football starting tomorrow, I believe. NFL's back, so
Packers and Bears.
Yeah, and a good one to start it for sure.
I think the Bears might win. We'll see. So, guys are back. We got one show to break down from last week. We got a show to break down this week. I don't think I've heard of any really important MMA news, but I'm willing to hear what you got to say, Sean. Is there something worth discussing that we're not going to discuss in these two cards?
It's been a really quiet UFC week.
Wait, Greg Hardy was committed.
Oh, fuck me. That's okay. There we go.
Hey, all you Greg Hardy haters, give me minus 150. Just something in that range. There's
not a chance in hell. He's gonna be like minus 800.
Yeah. I would take out a loan.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't understand why this is happening.
No,
I mean, they gave him an okay step up in Juan Adams last time. He was kind of a little bit of a prospect, and he dispatched him pretty quick.
It wasn't a terrible matchup on paper.
No, it wasn't terrible. I mean, the odds were even.
A lot of people were picking Juan Adams.
Yeah, it seemed like a close match. Then it comes out, they announced a couple fights for UFC Singapore, the one that Wes is going to be in Vegas for, and up at 3 in the morning to watch. And he's fighting fucking the worst heavyweight that nobody thought he was still on the roster.
I thought he didn't have any energy after like 3 minutes.
He doesn't. He's been out for 3 years. Fucking, what is it? Jarvis Danho? I don't even know.
Jarvis Danho.
Yeah, like
he was like a bodybuilder out of like Syria or some nonsense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he went like 1-1-1 or something like that in the UFC. Hasn't fought in 3 years. He's a certified F-. I'm pretty sure, Jay. You can clarify that, but
let me just confirm for you.
I think he was one of the F-. I'm pretty sure.
Very well.
But like,
he is Hold on.
Come on.
He is an F minus.
Fucking told you. That is like what?
He's not an F. He wasn't an F minus, but he's fucking close.
That's damn close. Like, why are they doing this? Like, and they're sending him to Singapore, which I'm kind of surprised that he's even allowed. Well, I guess he's never been charged, right? So I guess he shouldn't have any visa issues. But I don't know, just a weird thing. Why are they putting him on? I'm pretty sure. Well, it's going to be an ESPN Plus card, right? Which is going to be in the middle.
Maybe the Asian gamblers in Singapore love him.
It's gonna be the middle of the night and shit over in the States and stuff, though, man.
Yeah, I don't get this booking. Like, I mean, why is he not on big ESPN or on the next pay-per-view card? Like, I don't know what's going on. Giving him an F minus fucking guy. Like,
did they not have like maybe any spots and he wants another fight quick or something, man? I mean, that's the only like explanation.
Maybe they're just gonna let him knock somebody out. He wants to get paid.
Yeah.
They're gonna let him fight again.
But
he'd be more like. Is there any really other decent heavyweights that aren't, booked in a spot to put him? Maybe he just wants a quick turnaround, a quick fight, and they're like, fuck it, let's give him somebody to, somebody that's not gonna fuck with the, maybe the future potential spots we can put him on. Somebody he can just truck real quick, keep him happy, keep him, active and shit like that. That's the only explanation, because Hardy's not like some really young guy and shit, like you want to get him moved up kind of quick, I would think, plus he's just good enough, plus he needs to be fighting better guys. But yeah, if anybody's got any other explanations, I'd like to hear them, because fucking China card in the middle of the night in the States fighting arguably the worst heavyweight on the roster, that's just wild, man.
Let him unless it's just to do like a Mike Tyson circa 1986 type of thing. But
I know, but like, why take 4 steps back after giving him a step up against Adams?
And he passing with flying fucking colors.
Yeah, it's not like he had issues there. Like,
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, well, you know what it's really gonna do is just gonna piss off all the Hardy haters, because they're just like, oh my god, UFC's giving him another fucking can, and then he's gonna crush this dude, and everybody's gonna be saying he's just a hype train, which is fine, because this is actually probably good for us in the long run, because he's gonna crush this can, and then everybody's gonna be like, oh, he's just a can crusher. So then we fight someone they're gonna bet the other side, and then we're gonna get
what we want.
Greg Hardy at a better price.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want.
If it was any other person in like their 4th UFC fight or something, though, they sure as hell wouldn't be saying that. They would, they're keeping it slow with this one. They're doing a great job. The UFC usually never does this.
Yeah.
It's Greg Hardy, though. His 4th fight, he should be fighting fucking Hog already. Or they're just letting him crush cans.
Well, he should be fighting somebody fucking better than Yargis Dan, or whatever the fuck his name is.
He should already be fighting, right around that top 10, man. Top 10 or 12 guy.
At least 15. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's there. He's what, around 30 or so? I mean, he's not like old or anything, but
like, why is he not fighting like Augusto Sakai or Tai Tuivasa or Marcin Tybura? Yeah. Like, any of those guys. Those guys are 13, 14, 15.
They want him to lose? Oh no, whatever, it doesn't matter.
It's weird. Other than that, not too much going on in the UFC.
BJ Penn hasn't gone to jail yet, has
he? No charges laid. Supposedly it was a misunderstanding, because that's what happens at a bar after some drinks and people start punching each other.
Okay.
All right, our boy Aaron Bronster getting the exclusives though.
Exclusive.
Doing the work out there, man.
Oh yeah. Heard good things.
Yeah. Other than that, not too much going on.
Well, we can move to China, Shenzhen to be exact. I bet I don't know anyone who could pick out Shenzhen on a map, but is that like China's answer to Pittsburgh? Is it the China Pittsburgh? That's what I'm guessing. Anyway. All right, let's just talk about, we got something called Caroline Rosa Quevedo and Lara Preoccupied, and she was preoccupied because she didn't have anything really to offer this other girl, and she lost a split decision, which I really don't think was a split decision. Moving up,
Went to decision. That's all that matters.
It doesn't matter, which I guess you didn't bet, but you would have bet.
I did.
Ooh! Wow.
Back on the train, baby.
You're back on it. Okay, then we got Hello, Alatang, and Dana's Batgirl, and like we talked about, Batgirl got beat. No surprise. I mean, come on, a Mongolian Batgirl named after Dana. It's Bad Omen. Not Bad Omen. Lost a decision. The fight that we called and we thought was one of the easier bets on the card, Damir Ismagulov took out Thiago Moises 30-26, 30-27, 30-27. Wes, I know you're pretty high on him. It seems like that's going to continue. And then the next fight, I don't know what happened.
Oh, I do.
Daun Jung.
Oh my God.
A ninja choke? That didn't happen, did it?
I guess so.
Ibragimov was bragging along with his hands and then got tired, it seems. Nishon, is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, he just went blind with rage and tried to just throw absolute hammers for like 3 minutes straight in the first round, and then
they were like 8-year-old windmill punches.
Oh, just windmill punches, and then just gassed out. And then somehow I got like plus 450 live on Jung, and yeah. That you gotta expect that to happen when the guy just absolutely gasses himself out.
Jung still was almost about to lose that fight.
Oh yeah, that's the crazy part.
If he didn't get that choke in, like dude just laid into a choke standing up. But yeah, that was I don't know if I've ever seen something that sloppy. That was just
both sides. Like this, if Jung was any decent, Ibragimov would have been done after like a couple minutes in the second. But he's terrible, and Ibragimov is just an idiot and went balls to the wall, which is weird considering he was like an M1 champion. So you'd think he'd have some better fight IQ than that. But yeah, both fades going forward for sure.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We move on to bantamweight, and Sue Mutahari looked like a completely different fighter against Subkantai, and he won a decision pretty damn easily. Subkantai looks like he's basically washed. Wes, thoughts here?
Yeah, Sue's a completely different guy than anything that he's shown really on tape. But yeah, Subkantai, man. That guy's fucking terrible. Like he's bad, man. I don't know how he's still on the roster, but he is bad. He's really fucking bad.
He is terrible. That's just the darn truth. Nushan, any quick thoughts on that one?
No, I'll just touch on Ismagulov and Moises. I thought that would have been a closer fight, but Ismagulov was just so on point. Moises couldn't get any of his offensive wrestling going, couldn't get his striking going. That was pretty damn impressive from Ismagulov. Another good young guy coming out from that part of the world. It's good stuff.
I think Ismagulov is going to be a matchup nightmare for a lot of guys.
He's got some tight striking, and his defensive length. And his wrestling is pretty damn good too. So.
Yep, he's really good. 155 is just like it has been for 15 years. It's just incredible depth with talent in that division.
Yes, sir.
Then we got Anthony Hernandez, who I forgot his nickname, but it's something like Slow, taking on Jun Young Park. And Park looked good early, but then Hernandez just grappled, and eventually got a submission choke to end the preliminary card. Then we moved up to the ESPN.
It's fluffy, Jay. Come on, get it right.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. My mistake.
Oh, terrible.
It really was terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really bad. Anyway, we move up to the main card. Suzuki Inoue made her UFC debut, beating Wu Yanan. This ended up being a split decision. Inoue, I don't know. I don't think either can really go anywhere in this division. Wes, what are your thoughts on this? Either of these girls really worth our time?
No, not really.
Okay.
Why is Inoue fighting at strawweight? Didn't she fight why is she fighting at flyweight? Did she not fight in Invicta at strawweight?
I think so. She was way undersized here. It was
she's
insane.
way too small. Like she's got to go to strawweight. And I mean, she's decent. She's got decent striking for a lady. I mean, that's about as good as you're gonna get for
Yeah,
me.
I agree. I don't know why she changed the weight. The next fight was Song Kanan and Derek Krantz, and Krantz just completely gassed in this third round. What a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Should have won this fight.
Ugly ass fight. Ugly fight. Both guys just absolutely gassed. It was a coin flip fight. I mean, if you gave that to Krantz, even with how bad he gassed in the third, I wouldn't it was a coin flip. Both guys not good. All good. That's all I got.
Yeah, I was biased as hell, and I still thought Krantz probably won the third, but there was no way he was getting a third round looking like that over in China. There's just no way. And
yeah, that's a bad look.
Yeah, that was just, man, he just completely fucking gassed like hard. So yeah, you can't expect to take a decision over in a fighter's home country looking like that into the third round.
Definitely not. 3 fights left. We got Kai Kara France taking on Mark De La Rosa. This was a fairly decent action fight. Right fighter won. Nushan, thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, Kai Kara France looked better than he did when he stole that decision last time. I still think Mark De La Rosa is not that good, so maybe we'll get a good price fading France next time, because I still don't think he's great, but he definitely looked better than what he was in that loss that is supposedly a win.
I mean, his like hand speed and striking speed was at just a completely different level than De La Rosa, and De La Rosa was still having some serious success on the feet against a guy that's supposed to be a kickboxer and shit. Took the second round pretty handedly, I believe, as far as I remember. Yeah, France definitely he grabbed the third round and won a decision for sure. But I'm gonna get him. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get him. It's gonna be a decent price. I'm gonna get him.
Supposedly we were drawing dead because two of the judges gave him 30-27s. I thought that it might have been closer than that, but guess not.
Moving up to the co-main event, this was the first major surprise of the night.
Yikes.
Wow. Guy, Eliza Dushku, goes in his fight winning 7 fights in a row and laid a complete egg going to China. I don't know if it was the mileage, just going to a completely different place, but he made Li Jingliang look way too good, and now people think Li Jingliang was the China goat, at least for another 15 minutes before the next fight. Wes, what happened here?
Man, I don't know. Like, Dushku, that looked like a completely different dude, man. Like, he just didn't get off whatsoever. Jangalang did look like prime Jangalang though. What a fight by him. He pretty much did what he wanted on the feet, and it was pretty impressive. The galaxy just changed everything when Sean went against fucking Nate, and then turned around and went against fucking his other
Bad
boy.
Juju.
It changed. Yeah, it was just cursed from the start. So, but yeah, I mean that was a good performance, man. I'll always watch a Jangalang fight. That dude is awesome. He comes out and slangs them, and Dushku had some hype, man. He was on a run. I don't know what happened. I guess the travel maybe had a little bit of something to do with it, but that was just as flat a performance as you'll see for a guy in a pretty big spot. So yeah, unexplainable.
I thought it was a fairly close fight until Jangalang dropped him, and that kind of just shut down Elijah Dushku's offense. Yeah. He was, I don't know if he was just hesitant to throw because he thought he was going to get clipped. I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, that was impressive from the Jangalang. Now I'm worried about Elijah Dushku falling off a cliff because he's 32 years old. It's not like he has a ton of miles on him. He's not getting beat up in any of his fights, but just a bad performance, and I think these things happen on kind of mediocre fighters. Sometimes they just lay eggs. I guess we'll see when he comes back for his next fight if he's back to what he usually is and what we thought he was, or if this is a sign of more things to come. But happy for the Jangalang. Gets a knockout in his home country. Can't believe what that guy's kind of made for himself, considering what he was to start with. So happy for the dude.
Guys, he's got a damn Monster Energy sponsorship in China and shit. Like he's done very well for himself. Oh, and our boy, friend of the MMA Analysis, our boy Bo just recreated the South Park meme in real time. It just happened.
Not yet. Give it 3 or 4 days, and he might be like sunset if you know what I mean. So yeah, then we went to the main event where Andrade was just smiling and thought it was a good idea to just get into a brawl, and we have a Chinese champion in the UFC in 2019. Remember when we laughed at China as a fighting country? Remember
we did that about Australia and that area too a while back. It's
not as bad as this.
Yeah,
not as bad
definitely.
as this. Yep. We thought this was the worst. We said Mexico was better. Australia just had some terrible fighters, so we knew they had a couple guys that were decent. China, we didn't think there was anything there. And now we have a Chinese champion, a Weili Zhang, who I'm not going to say she's unstoppable, but she's never really even looked like she's been threatened in a fight yet. That's a pretty good position to be in. Knocking out a girl in 1 minute. Weird that Andrade smiled away and like didn't say that I care in the world. Looked happy.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all, man. I didn't like that whatsoever.
Some people were saying she's paid off. I mean, I'm sorry, that's I don't buy that.
No, you don't. Shut up. I hate motherfuckers like that. Shut up.
Stupid. It's good for the sport, for sure. I would like to see more Chinese fighters, more Li Jinglangs, more Song Yadongs in fighting, because they've been good, and I kind of like the Asia cards in general. I feel like there's always something wild that happens.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a different time of day. It adds a different thing. I mean, the sport being worldwide is a good thing, and being in different places. I don't think I'd enjoy the sport as much as it was just dominated by Americans constantly. So that's all good, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Andrade was a pretender all along.
I don't know, man. This is such a weird fight. So I stayed up and watched the whole fight, but I was fading hard after the Jangalang knockout. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll set an alarm for like 15 minutes, just get a quick little bit of shut eye in. My alarm goes off and the fight's over. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What happened here? So then I rewind it and obviously watch it, and man, it was just a weird fight. Like, Andrade came in and it seemed like Zhang just did what Andrade usually does, just like blitzed her and just never let her off the hook. I know there was some sketchy elbows, but I mean it's the fight game. That's the way it goes. Don't put yourself in the situation where you can get illegally punched in the back of the head or elbowed in the back of the head. I think
there was only one that was probably to the back of the head after Capoza put some other angles out. There was probably one, maybe two, but you're right. Don't put yourself in that situation. I was very surprised. Obviously, I was big on Andrade. Zhang proved me wrong. I would like to see the fight again, see if it's any different if it goes longer. Maybe it'll be different. I don't know. Maybe I just really, really underestimated Zhang. It's just what I saw from her was not really what showed up on fight day. So that was impressive. We'll see if this is who she is, and I was completely wrong, or what's going to happen here. I think she might be in trouble if Suarez gets the next title shot, because
I don't know.
Either one of them was going to be in trouble. If
Yeah,
Suarez.
either
I'm telling
way,
you.
fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, big shock for me, and definitely lost a big chunk of coin on old Andrade there.
Yeah, I did too. I got this one completely wrong. Yeah, before I want to see it again. I really do. I'd like to see it in maybe a little bit more neutral spot too. Like it's kind of crazy. Like MMA is the only sport, quote unquote, that you're literally the champion of the world, and your first title defense is you fucking flying to the other side of the world and defending your title against somebody in their hometown.
They did this the last two times for the women's strawweight.
Yeah,
Rose had
just,
to go to Brazil, and then Andrade had to go to China.
Yeah, I mean that literally just doesn't happen, and probably shouldn't happen in MMA either. Like a champion shouldn't really be forced to, especially make their first title defense in another fighter's home country. That's kind of fucked up. Not that it would have had any kind of bearing on this fight, how it played out, but I definitely want to see them. I think they should run it back. Even though this was a pretty dominant win, it was really short, and we know how second fights can play out against fighters and after short fights like that. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised that Andrade just kind of ran across the ring and started flailing away. I mean, she's always been kind of aggressive, but not like that, and props to Zhang. I mean, she landed some really good shit, caught her with a punch that got the knee to the body. Then, the elbows. Then when, Andrade was kind of pedaling back, she caught her again, man, and that was it. Just a baffling game plan. I didn't understand that. That was kind of shocking to me. I don't want to say I guess I did underestimate Zhang, of course. I always thought she's been pretty good though. Like people's kind of thought she's, just her record's kind of fluffed up for over a year now, and I thought she's always been pretty good because she's just a really good wrestler. You don't see that a lot, and but man, I didn't see this. I was completely fucking wrong on this one. Props to her.
I mean, it basically looked like she ran over a can there, and the can was Jessica Andrade. Like,
yeah,
it's very surprising with how tough Andrade is.
Yeah, I mean, she landed, everything landed perfectly. If you watch it back, like in that minute and a half, she landed that first, I believe it was a left, then got the knee to the body, which hurt her, hit her perfectly and hurt her, bent her over. Then when she's pedaling back, she lands that left and it was done. Then the follow-ups on the ground were everything landed perfectly in that fight. I mean, props to Zhang for landing it. I think this could be one of those though that could be different in a rematch. I could absolutely see Andrade not literally flailing across the ring in the first 10 seconds and things.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I trust her. It's always a battle.
I mean, I'll never fully trust her again. Don't get me wrong. This fight could be different. I don't think it matters though. Suarez mauls both these girls. I think Suarez mauls anybody in this division.
I don't think Suarez is getting the next shot. What if I told you that?
Who's going to get the next shot then?
I run it back.
I don't know. They're going to do this Waterson fight, and then maybe the winner of that gets the next shot.
Yeah, well, Waterson ain't beating Joanna, so.
I mean, they could do Joanna and this girl.
Yeah.
Would that surprise you?
No, but
I think that's more likely, to be honest.
You don't think it? Yeah, I think it's huge. You take this.
I think the way Suarez fought against what's her name? Amanda Nunes.
She
kind of missed the opportunity for now.
I
have a feeling. I know you like her, and I don't necessarily disagree with you about the talent.
No, I get it. That performance probably takes it away for right this second. I agree with that.
Plus, she just won the title. They're gonna want her to go up against like a known fighter. Like the reality is, Suarez is drawing nobody.
They should rematch this as
They're not going
It's a
to.
perfect opportunity. I think you rematch it back in Brazil. I mean, it would be a fucking pretty big fight for Brazil.
That's why
But
they're not going to do it.
Yeah,
Because
who knows with these fucking idiots anymore, you know.
Now that they have a Chinese champion, they're probably gonna try to keep it that way, I would assume. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
maybe they're praying that Waterson beats Joanna, and then they could do the Waterson fight, and they think that Zhang is gonna.
they
beat
got 2 Asian
Waterson.
fighters.
Wow, no, they think that Zhang's gonna beat Waterson. I mean, Waterson's not really. She's American.
I think they like the idea of 2 Asian things. Waterson's Asian American, but
it's a massive market, and they just got a bunch of money for them over there. But literally, nobody cares about Zhang over here. Like literally,
but does that matter?
I mean, if you're not going to put her in
10
China
years
every single time,
dude,
she's
5 years ago they didn't care what the Chinese market did for movies, and now the Chinese market can make movies.
Yeah,
so
but nobody
it's like
cares
like
about
anything else. I might make it for the UFC too. I guess that's like the US isn't the only market that matters.
It's great for them. No, don't get me wrong. It's great for the UFC as far as getting eyeballs on her over here. Nobody cares. Like she's gonna have to fight in China every single time. Nobody gives a shit about her over here. Nobody even knows about her over here. You know. I mean, I'm not saying that's not a bad thing and not what they're gonna do, but.
But nobody knows Jessica Andrade over here either. You could say, like, okay, like MMA fans do, but like you don't have randoms going, oh, look at that Jessica Andrade fight coming up, man. Come on, man.
I get that. That's half of the roster. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's probably 75% of the roster. Yeah. No, it's good for the UFC. That user over there. I was just. I guess I'm referring to I saw people saying that she could be a big star because of how many people's in China. And she was like, yeah, in China, she's never going to be a big star over here. Nobody gives a shit about her over here. They never will.
Unless she's just blowing out girls in a minute, like 3 or 4 times in a row. Like, yeah, that might be different. But,
I mean, Amanda Nunes doesn't even really have a following outside of the hardcores of the sport. And she's
it's a man's sport. I mean, let's be honest. I don't care what the numbers say in terms of this many
absolutely.
Watch fighting. The people that are following a combat sport day in and day out are going to be at least 90% men. That's just the reality of it. Boxing, kickboxing, combat, and men go together. In terms of their interest level, it's just the way it's been. Look at all the fighting moves that have ever existed, the TV shows, all that stuff. It's geared that way. So, and look how men are programmed. The reality is Amanda Nunes looked more like Paige Van Zandt or Michelle Waterson or Ronda or someone else like that.
Should be massive.
Exactly. It all comes down to look. I mean, yes, I think the most important thing, the look is maybe the most important thing, but the second most important thing is having people think that people like to see people get finished. If you can combine those two things, that's kind of your rocket, right?
You have to.
That's why Ronda was a big thing.
Yep, you have to combine those two things if you want a female MMA star. You have to.
At least here.
Yeah.
In North America, I would say yes, that's what's required. And then, really, Ronda was fairly popular, but it wasn't until she got those 2 or 3 finishes inside of a minute where people really started. There was a lot of hype then at that point.
Yeah, she had to do it multiple times in a row before people even really started caring.
There was definitely a following, a 400,000 or 500,000 pay-per-view type of following. So it was pretty significant, but those last couple pay-per-views where she was champion, they were getting close to a million buys. That's a really significant number.
In China, it's kind of, it doesn't even matter. She's gonna be a massive star over there regardless. There's just a different culture when it comes to.
I tend to agree, but I have no idea. I know in Korea, there's super fandom.
They said it. The numbers are crazy already for her.
I could see it. There's a following of a nationalistic pride.
Yeah. Yep, they're different. Or their culture's different with all sports really, not even just fighting, but
sure.
They're like you said, the country's following of sports, all of them, when it like soccer and table tennis and shit over in China and shit. Like literally, they have table tennis people that are worth millions of dollars and are national heroes. You know, it's just different. Their governments literally have like athletic training centers, and you know the government pumps money into this shit because people said it forever. Sports and politics are so intertwined. You know, governments over there literally use it for propaganda and shit. So, yeah, she's already a star over there. I think they said like China's version of like YouTube or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot the name.
She was already getting like 50 million views and shit on some of her videos. You know what I'm saying? Like that's insane. That's crazy. But we'll see how it translates to. I don't think any of that translates to over here. It's just two different worlds. For the UFC, it's great. It's more money in their pocket. They got debt payments to make.
Interesting times in the UFC. And now they're going to Abu Dhabi.
I mean, it does feel kind of special. It does feel kind of special when they go there, though, doesn't it? It really kind of does. They're always going to put something on there, and at least there is a title fight worth watching.
It's got to be better than the last time they went.
Yeah.
Was that Roy Nelson?
No, Anderson versus Tal is latest.
Oh, what about?
Was it Maya? No, never mind. It was Anderson versus Maya was the last.
Where did they fight when Big Nog fought Roy Nelson in the main event? I thought that was in Abu Dhabi.
That was... Where the fuck was that? That was in Abu Dhabi.
Boom, winner. Yeah. Anyway,
so this is the third time going to Abu Dhabi then? Yeah.
Yeah, they paid. Yeah, it was an outdoor fight. That I don't know. Is this outdoor or indoor? Is it indoor or outdoor?
Indoor.
Yeah, they ain't
the other one. The other one was outdoor.
The first one was outdoor.
So was the Roy Nelson Big Nog fight. I remember Big Nog almost had his head on the cage when he got knocked out obliviously by Roy Nelson. Anyway, it was a Friday card too. Don Madge, the first Don Madge, got that right, guys? Taking on Faris Zion Williamson. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. I got nothing to say on it.
He's from France.
Can we skip this and move on?
Yeah, I got nothing on these guys.
Wes, I assume you have nothing to take on Faris Zion Williamson.
Yeah, I have. The only thing I've seen on him is some highlights that our boy the Honky on Twitter, follow him. He puts out good little clips, but yeah, I have no idea.
Well, at least two guys we're fairly familiar with. We got Omari Akhmedov and Zach Cummings, in which I think you could easily describe as literally the middle of the divisions clash. I think that's fair. Nushan, what do you think?
This is another stay away fight for me.
Boom.
I don't think Cummings has enough power at 185 to knock out Akhmedov, so it's going to be a bit of a grind, and Akhmedov probably takes over later in the fight, so I'll pick him. But yeah, I don't want to bet on either of these guys. It's a close fight.
Yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of what Sean said, but I actually I kind of like Omarion in this fight for a small bet.
Oh shit!
I just Zach Cummings up at 185. He's just he used to have a tiny little bit of pop. He doesn't have any anymore. I just think Omarion's going to put too much pressure on him here. He's going to do what Zach Cummings likes to usually do to guys, and I think Cummings a kind of wilt once this gets into the third round or so. And yeah, I like Omarion here, small, just a small little bit, nothing big.
Yeah, this should be I think this is going to be a pretty competitive bout. I got both. Actually, I have Akhmedov at C-, Cummings at D+. I think Akhmedov has really kind of improved since moving up to middleweight, and he just seems like he's kind of more on the rise. I mean, Cummings is going to be a tough out. But I like Akhmedov's power. I think that could be a defining factor here. As long as he can kind of stop the Cummings takedown attempts, I think he's got just more to offer on the feet from a power standpoint, and that should be enough to give him the edge in this bout. It's not a huge discrepancy, but I think it's enough where he gets to win. Not a definite play fight, but it's definitely a lean for me. Next fight is Muslim Salikov taking on Nordine Taleb. I'll let you guys talk West first, and I'm going to grab a beer.
Smart man.
Yeah, I don't have a lot on this one. I guess I think Taleb's he's probably a little bit more talented and probably want to say kind of more safer. If you're betting this, you kind of know what you're going to get out of Taleb, but man, he's getting kind of old, man. This dude carries around a lot of muscle too. He always has. I don't know how he's going to hold up over kind of what I think is going to be a kind of a more grueling fight. Lot of clinch work and stuff. I don't know how he's going to hold up, man. I don't think it's hard to trust either one of these guys, man. I'm gonna pick how you pronounce his name, Sean?
Taleb, or you got Salikov?
No, I got Taleb. Sakilov. I'm gonna pick him, man, but I want my money nowhere near him. I think Taleb's probably a little bit more talented, but at 37 and I can't trust him with a bet. So yeah.
Yeah, the pick is Taleb for me. I think the game plan's there, how to beat Salikov. I mean, it was game planned by his fight team in the Alex Garcia fight. That being said, Taleb's been finished twice in his last 3 fights, including getting knocked out against Sean Strickland. So we know Salikov has some power. He's got some good striking. So if Taleb can't get him down and smother him on the ground, then this gets real sketchy for him. So no play for me. The pick's Taleb, but it'll be interesting because I think if Taleb gets him down, I think he might be able to sub him. Well, I don't know. He has 0 subs on his record, so I don't know. That's kind of sketchy too. So probably
it's a weird fight.
Yeah, it's a weird fight. Taleb probably smothers him if he gets him down, and if it's on the feet, then Salikov probably puts in work and possibly knocks out Taleb. So definitely a stay away fight for me.
I got both these guys as C-. I mean, I've been surprisingly more impressed with Taleb than I have with Salikov. I mean, Taleb's really getting up there in age, though, so that is a question mark, and Salikov is kind of a knockout guy, so that is a concern. But Taleb, I just think, is way more skilled and polished from a broad MMA standpoint. He can push against the cage. He can grapple. Salikov really can't do any of those things but strike. Could be dangerous for Taleb, and if you're going to bet this, you're probably going to be nervous throughout the majority of the bout, but this is the fight Taleb really should win. Moving on, we got Bilal Muhammad taking on Takanori Sato. Wes?
Yeah, Sato's knocked out a couple cans. Bilal took about everything that Jeff Neal threw at him. I think that's the difference here. Bilal should win this fight fairly easy.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Bilal Muhammad in this. Sato got hit a shit ton against Ben Saunders before eventually taking him out. That is not a good sign in 2019. Price is a bit steep for a guy in Muhammad that doesn't have big power, doesn't have big subs or anything. He has 0 subs. So Sato will probably stick around, so there is that crazy fluke knockout that could happen because Sato does have pretty decent power, but I gotta assume that Muhammad kind of grinds on him a bit, uses his striking, and wins a decision. Jay, are you there?
Shotgun and beer.
Crushing them those craft beers. There he is. You
Where's
back,
what?
Jay?
Yeah, I'm back.
You
What I
get
missed?
2 beers? Did you just fist that whole one? Just crush that first one you got, or what happened
I
here?
don't know. It's really got that. It's that marshmallow
He
and
did.
mandarin orange taste, man.
He fucking hammered it.
It's a damn good sour beer. You guys don't like a good sour beer. I gotta culture you boys.
Oh, I'm not fancy enough for that shit. I'm basic as fuck. What you got between Bilal Muhammad and Takashi Sato?
I got like Bilal Muhammad like a high C-, nearing a C, and Sato a D+, but more nearing a D. So it's probably like 2 grades difference. It's really hard to see Sato competing even on the feet against Muhammad. Muhammad's such a volume striker, and with the grappling, I mean, I find this to be a real edge and talent. It's really hard for me to see Muhammad lose this fight, and he's going to be the clear favorite with the crowd, who's going to be really amped up for this pay-per-view event. So I like Bilal Muhammad here. I think he's one of the better bets on the card. Certainly the price is ballooned, but this is a fight he should win. 7-8 times out of 10, to be candid. So I like Bilal Muhammad. Again, one of the better bets on the card. Let's move up now to the FX portion of the card.
Yes, sir.
Are we back?
Baby. We're back.
I forgot Disney bought Fox, so FX is now Disney. But really, like, that's pretty funny how that kind of works, right? I kind of like it. It's like is this like a noon start time for the FX portion? I think so, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a weird time.
Canada, but that's fine. Anyway, we got Ottoman Azatar taking on
Pack a lunch.
Pack a lunch.
The Ottoman Empire versus Pack a Lunch.
There it is.
Advantage Ottoman. All
Yeah,
right.
this starts at noon Eastern, by the way, on the FX.
I guess this has to do with football, which is fine by me. Usually FX had football, but I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I guess we'll start with Wes this time. Any thoughts on? I assume he's Turk.
Yeah, not much, man. Pack a lunch is fucking terrible, but this Ottoman Empire is a fucking can crusher. So I really don't know. I'm taking a complete pass on this fight. I'll pick the Empire though.
I mean, that makes sense because the Ottomans were can crushers, right?
This is true. So Pack a Lunch has a 5-inch height advantage and a 4-inch reach advantage. No clue if that's going to matter. Like Wes said, Ottoman Empire beat a guy that is 18-15. The guy before that was 4-4. The guy before that was 16-10. So he's
terrible.
Not terrible, but he's doing some can crushing for sure. I'll pick Pack a Lunch. I've seen him. He's got a reach advantage. Maybe he can win.
Yeah, we'll see. I got Pack-a-Lunch a D. No grade yet on Azatar. Don't grade Pack-a-Lunch at all. I mean, his only win in the UFC is against Thibaut Gouti.
Yeesh.
Yeah, yeesh is right. Let's see what happens. I'll leave it at that. Let's move up. We got Liana Juju.
Oh.
Juju.
Taking on good old Sarah Morass. I mean, if we're going to talk about a fighter with Morass, we might as well talk about Sarah Morass, I feel. New Sean, is this an overplay?
You're damn right it is.
Even on this mook?
Even on this mook. This mook is a can crusher as well. She's got a bunch of finishes, but like I said,
she likes being on her back.
And she likes being on her back, and Morris is a pretty decent submission person herself, so I think she'll be able to fight off anything she wants, and she'll have a decent size advantage in this fight. It's going over. It's going the distance, and it's going to be fucking terrible.
Yeah, this is probably the worst fight on the card, Wes.
I really don't give a shit about this fight.
Smart man.
Okay, that's a pass. All right, let's move up. I don't care either. I think I've said a while ago that I would never pick Sarah Moras in a fight ever again, and it's not happening here. So I'll take the Juju. And when you got Juju, I mean you got the Juju. So that's how this works. We got Lerone Murphy. That's not a real name, is it?
Leroy Jenkins.
It's Eddie and Charlie Murphy's long lost cousin.
Oh shit, from England.
Oh yeah, darkness.
Fuck your couch.
Yeah. Fuck your couch. Taking on one of Khabib's boys. He's part of the crew. Zubaira Tukhugov. I think this is his first fight since the incident, right?
Yeah, because he was supposed to be suspended. He hasn't fought since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Wes. That's a 2+ year absence.
Yeah, he's been off for almost 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yeah, that's gotta be your worry in this fight. I mean, I don't know a ton about Murphy. I saw some highlights of his. He's fighting some really marginal guys over in Europe, man, and Zabir should be he's way better, man. Man, that layoff you got to worry about it. You always do. But, I mean, that guy's training with fucking some of the best dudes in the world, man. So I'm fairly sure that he's way better than Murphy, but you always got to worry about a layoff like that. So maybe this fight goes a little longer than it probably would in any other circumstance. But, yeah, you got to pick Zabira in this fight.
New Sean.
Yeah, so Leroy Murphy has 2 fights in the last 2 years. The last guy he fought has an okay record. He's 8-3 now. The guy before that is 7-40. 4-0. He has lost 40 times. I wouldn't lay that. Tukhugov should smash, but yeah, off 3 years. Yeah, not a great look, but he should do work. I mean, it is. It would be a pretty big shock if Tug Job loses this fight.
Tug Job. Who doesn't want a Tug Job? All right, let's move around. I got Tukhugov a C. I mean, he's pretty good. I think he's going to be valued by the crowd, having his boys here for this little trip, mac and cheese and Khabib. I mean, I think that's got to be good for his mind. Even with the 3-year layoff, which is definitely a concern. I mean, this is a tough putt for Murphy. I mean, can he really stop takedowns here from Tukhugov? Tukhugov wants them. I don't know. I really have my doubts. I'll take Tukhugov, but 3-year layoff for anybody is a pass. Let's move on to the main event of the FX prelims. We got Joanne Calderwood against Andrea Lee. This should be competitive and interesting, right, Wes?
I don't know about that.
Interesting's a push, Jay. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't even care much about this fight, honestly. JoJo looked better after moving up to 125 against a couple horrible fighters, and then ran into Mook again, who is decent. Decent at best, and she got her shit pushed in. I think Andrea Lee's just a younger, better fighter at this point. This could just be another kind of slow, boring fight, though, man. I really don't care. Andrea Lee's gonna win this fight, though. I don't think JoJo's ever gonna be what everybody wants her to be, whatever weight she's fighting at. So.
Although it was really annoying when she was on that Tough House and people were raving and roving about her. She was
the next fucking major thing in MMA, and she just that ain't her, man.
Nope. Could be the
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go over.
Maybe they should move her to Alabama or something.
Oh, Wes. Let's hope this fight is boring, because I took Go's decision. I put both the ladies' fights in a parlay. I got plus 103, and I got that for a unit. It's gonna be boring, and Andrea Lee is gonna win.
That beer's pretty good still, I gotta say.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I got Calderwood C+, Andrea Leah C+. And Calderwood's had her moments, but she's way too inconsistent. I agree. I think Lee is there's just a little bit more there, a little bit more of a consistent performance. I think Lee's definitely made some strides, and I think she's really on the verge of being a consistent top 10 fighter in her division. So I think this is fairly close, but I think Lee wins. Again, just a more consistent level and deserving of a W. Moving on to the main event, or rather the main card, we got a good fight to start this off. Carlos Diego Ferreira taking on Mairbek Taisumov, assuming he could actually get a visa to Abu Dhabi, because it seems like he can't get a visa anywhere else. All right, Wes, we'll start with you. I think this is a pretty good way to start a pay-per-view. No?
Yeah, this is a very interesting fight, a really good one. Man, it's OCDF has made me some really good money over the past few years. He always seems to be undervalued in most of his fights. I'm not sure he is here though, man. I hate to jump off that train, man, but I just think he could be in tough against Taisumov, man. Taisumov is pretty fucking good, man. I don't think that guy gets the shine he deserves. I mean, he's got like one loss, I think, in like the past fucking 4 or 5 years against Michel Pizarris. That's been what, 2 or 3 years ago now. So
that was 5
years
five
ago.
and a half years ago.
Dude hasn't lost in 5.5 years, man. I know he's got some gaps in between fights, visa issues and stuff like that. But I mean, every time he fights, man, that guy performs, layoff or otherwise. And I mean, his wrestling is really good. He doesn't really use it much because the dude just throws down. I'm just not sure CDF is going to be able to handle the pressure that Taisumov is going to put on him in this fight, man. And like I said, I think Taisumov is really, really good, man. The guy doesn't get the shine he deserves. Dude's still only 31 years old. So I know he's the fave here, but CDF has got a pretty decent name now, and maybe a big win here gets Taisumov some bigger fights. We like we said about the visa, though, I think that's held him back a lot of moving up in the rankings, man. You just can't get good fights when they can't put you on certain cards especially over here in the States and stuff. So but yeah, it's a really good fight. I wouldn't be shocked at all if it's very competitive. Like I said, CDF is really good as well, but I lean Taisumov here. I think he gets it done probably by decision. This is going to go 3 rounds.
All right, Nushan.
I didn't like what I saw from Taisumov against Des Green. He won it convincing. It was 30-27, but I didn't think he looked that great. This guy fights so inconsistently. He's fought 4 times. Last time he's fought more than once in a year was 2015.
Been off a year again too.
Off a year again. Yeah. CDF is the more active guy. He throws about 2 more. He lands 2 more strikes a minute than him. I think this is a bit of a closer fight. I know Taisumov has that power. CDF has been put away by Dustin Poirier before, so that could happen. But I just think this is a bit closer than what the odds say. I was able to get CDF at plus 250. I took him for a unit. I think this is going to be a striking match, and CDF is pretty decent, and maybe he can make it a tight fight. Okay,
I got CDF C+, Taisumov B-. I think CDF's a pretty smart fighter. He's got a pretty compelling ground game. He's had his moments on the feet, but I think Taisumov is way more dangerous on the feet, way more ways to finish. assuming he can keep the fight upright, which I think he'll be able to do for the most part, but it's not a complete slam dunk, so I'll pass here. The line is certainly higher than I thought it was going to be. I thought this would be more of like a minus 180, minus 175 line for Tysonov, and it's where is it now? It's minus 265. Yeah, 250,
Yeah,
270.
it's way past what it should be. That's for fuck sure.
So I think this is a buyer beware. I think for like a thing like a tout master play, I think CDF makes a good amount of sense. For a betting purpose, I don't know. I do think Tysonov wins, so it's typically not something I would play in that regard. But again, I think there's some value on CDF if you're looking at strictly just a numbers game. Let's move up to a heavyweight fight. The only one on the card, we got Curtis Razorblades taking on Sharif Abdurrahim, right?
Sharif Abdurrahimov.
Sharif.
All right, Nushan, you can go first.
It's hard not to like Blades here. I think he's gonna get takedowns at will and smash this guy. I don't think Sharif Abdurrahim is very good. He's just fought some real shitty heavyweights, which I guess most are, whereas Blades has been fighting the more upper echelon of heavyweights. I was able to get a pretty nice number on Blades early. I got him at most of it at minus 305, so I got him in a parlay. Let's see, is it 2 parlays or just 1? I got him in just 1 parlay. He should smash, take him down. It's should be fairly easy. I'm not saying anything too crazy. He is minus 500 now. You do worry a bit about heavyweights being a little volatile, can get cracked, but I don't think Abdurrahimov has even much power for heavyweights, so I think Blades should be able to walk through it, even if he does get clipped a bit.
Nushan, or Wes rather?
Yeah. This fight isn't close, man. Like, Blades is just so many levels ahead of Sharif Abdurrahimov here. We've talked about Blades a lot in the past. How just really good we think he is. He's fighting in the same era as a guy that's just probably always going to be better than him in Ngannou. And me and Jace talked about it. We thought these guys would fight a few times in their career. We thought it would be for the belt, though. Actually, they've already fought a couple times. I think they probably end up fighting another time down the road. But yeah, Blades is that good, man. He should smash here. Inside the distance is only minus 185. I'm still waiting on props to come out. I got Blades in a really big parlay with somebody else on the card, and I believe mine was around the minus 300, minus 310 range, something in there as well. It's ballooned up so much now that I would wait for the points handicap to come out, and you're probably going to get around that 350. Or maybe look inside the distance. I think he takes Sharif down and smashes at will here. Blades easily.
Yeah, when Arlovsky gets 2 takedowns against you, you know your takedown defense is not that great.
And Blades is a pretty smart fighter. I think he's gonna get takedowns here and smash.
Yeah, I got Blades an A- and Abdurrahimov a D+. There's a huge disparity in ability and talent. Blades way younger, way more athletic. Can easily, I think he's the better wrestler for sure. More power on the feet. There's so many advantages here. The only guy he's really struggled with has been Ngannou. Who had mega power and had athleticism, and he had speed and quickness. All those things Abdurrahimov doesn't have. So
I think this is going to be a real struggle for Abdurakhimov. Once he's put on his back, and he's going to get elbowed into oblivion, which is something that Blades does with regularity. Let's move up to 3 fights left on the card. A featherweight fight, a pretty intriguing one between Islam Mac and Cheese and Brazilian Davi Ramos. Wes?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see Ramos as this big a dog against somebody, but the guy on the other side, he probably should be a fairly decent dog against. Man, I'm not sure where Ramos is going to have a bunch of opportunities in this fight to actually win it. I just think on the feet he's completely outgunned, and maybe hoping that Islam gets some takedowns on him so he has some opportunities to work on the mat and maybe pull off a sub. But, man, I think that's probably going to be his only chance in this fight. Not saying that can't happen. I think there's a slight chance it could. I got mac and cheese in a small parlay, but nothing big. I just have a weird feeling that Ramos has a chance to pull off something just stupid. But I just think more times than not, mac and cheese is going to win a decision here. Stays on the feet. I just think that's probably where most of the fight's going to be, and Ramos, his striking just isn't up to par at this point. So mac and cheese by decision for me.
New Sean?
Yeah, I like mac and cheese in this fight. I liked it a lot better when I got it. I got him at minus 215. I got that in a parlay with Blades for a unit, so that was minus 105, and then I got him in another parlay at minus 195. That price has got pretty far, but I still like mac and cheese to win. I think with his wrestling, he'll be able to take down Ramos and tire him out, even if he just takes him down and gets back up again, so that he doesn't get subbed. And I think he's better on the feet, so I expect him to win a pretty dominant decision. Just think he has the edges kind of everywhere it needs to be. Ramos is a lot better when he's getting the takedowns. He's on top and able to implement his grappling that way. When he's on his back, it's not nearly as effective. So I like mac and cheese here.
Okay, I got mac and cheese at B, Ramos at C. I tend to agree with both these guys. It's just a major grappling edge for mac and cheese. He's such a difficult. I mean, Ramos is creative. Especially as a submission guy, but I mean it's hard to see mac and cheese actually get caught. Just training with Khabib and that style, like those guys are just the way they set up their takedown attempts, the way they sit in top control. They're just brutal, very very hard to submit. So I like mac and cheese to win this fight, pretty much going away. I did want to mention that we do have Curtis Blades in our consensus bet parlay. He's the first leg of that parlay. The second leg is going to be coming up very shortly. Co-main event time, rematch of I think this was in Philadelphia, I think, if I remember correctly, between Edson Jr. Barbosa and now UFC Golden Child / commentator Paul Felder. Wes, is this going to be just like the first fight?
Probably. Yeah, couple shout outs to Felder before I start crushing on him. Yeah, we will always appreciate what he did to the rape enabler. So props for that. Props for continuing my James Vick knockout meme collage. I always appreciate that. And for me, I think Felder has turned into arguably the best play-by-play guy in MMA. I really enjoy his commentary on fights, and hopefully he gets there full time before too long. As far as this fight, man, This is a bad matchup for Paul Felder, man. These are the type of matchups I think Barboza dreams about at night. A guy that's just going to stand there and not throw a lot and let Barboza find his openings and fire that crazy shit that he fires, man. I think Barboza rolls in this fight. Felder's just, like I said, he's a really bad striking matchup for Barboza, and this is going to be a kickboxing match. We know how good of a kickboxer Barboza is, especially how good of a kickboxer he is when the guy's putting zero pressure on him. And I don't think Felder is that kind of pressure fighter. So I think Barboza rolls here. I got a pretty big bet on him at minus 130. He's still only around minus 155, and believe he actually might have got a little bit better here lately. So. Maybe that comes back down, but I like Barboza big in this fight. I think he might even get a later round finish. So Barboza for me.
Nushan?
Yeah, I like Barboza here too. I thought their first fight was somewhat close, but you could just see where Barboza had the edge in each of the rounds. I thought Barboza could have even done better if he didn't get clipped early and his eye blew up. He basically fought most of that fight with 1.5 eyes. But I like both these guys for sure. They've got better since they fought last time. I think Barboza might have even has increased that disparity even more. It is a bit worrisome that Barboza got finished last time out, but he has looked good every time he's come back from a loss. It's going to be a stand-up war. They're going to leg kick the shit out of each other, and in those type of fights, you almost have to take Barboza. I got 2 units on him at minus 124. I just think he has the edges here. It might be a close fight, but I think Barboza just always has a bit of an edge on Paul Felder. And Paul Felder also seems like he's been getting a little more injured lately, whether it's in fights or outside the fights. I know he had the collapsed lung against Vic. I feel like he's broken his arm and his hand somewhat recently, so he's definitely the more brittle guy, and you don't want that heading into a fight with Edson Barboza, who's gonna absolutely slam his legs and fists into you.
Yeah, I have Barboza B, Paul Felder a B minus. We've already seen this fight. Sure, it looks like maybe Paul Felder has a bit more confidence than he did heading into that fight, but Barboza certainly shows that he can compete with him. He's a better kicker, more powerful leg kicks. He's technically a better striker. He has more power than Paul Felder does. Felder, I would say, has a better chin, has a good amount of heart. So I really don't think it goes. It's going to be an inside the distance type of scenario. I think this does go to a decision, but it's hard not to like Barboza again, given all the factors that we saw in the first time they fought. And the price isn't too steep in this scenario. So I like Edson Barboza. I actually tend to like him by decision more. That's something I would lean towards a bet on. But in terms of this parlay that we talked about, we do all agree that Edson Barboza is the guy. And that is our second leg of our consensus bet of the week. It is Curtis Blades and Edson Barboza, and Nushan, that pays
minus 103.
All right, so pretty much even money on those two guys. Main event time. I know I'm excited. You guys maybe not be as excited, but we got the return of the great one, the one and only, the best wrestler in the history of mixed martial arts when it comes to MMA grappling. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Eagle, the Almighty, taking on the Cajun Man, the Diamond, Dustin Poirier in a battle of USA versus Russia. Wes, kick it off.
Yeah, this is one of those that's as good as it gets in this sport, man. Just an absolutely fantastic fight. really, really happy for Dustin to get to this point in his career. I'm fairly sure that he's going to get a very nice chunk of money in this fight. I know they're talking about Khabib's going to get like $7 million or something. They're both getting some of that Abu Dhabi bonus money in their checks apparently. So I'm hoping Dustin gets a very nice payday out of this. The dude deserves it. Yeah, as far as the fight, man, I was against Dustin against Max, and it was fairly obvious early that Max was just completely out of his weight class in that fight. Not taking anything away from Dustin, because he looked absolutely fantastic in that fight. I was also on Dustin against Gagey when a lot of people were on Gagey in that fight. He's just, the run he's put on, man, here over the past couple of years is really, really impressive. But man, he's in tough here, man. I think he's just in a really bad spot here, man. Khabib he's one of the best fighters we've ever seen, man. I don't think anybody argue that he's maybe the most all-around skilled fighter or anything like that, but what Khabib does, you can't stop, and he does it better than anybody. Nobody's been able to stop it. I just can't see Dustin stopping it here, man. You would always say that Dustin does hit with some pop. He's got that proverbial puncher's chance, but man, Khabib's taking some punches, man. He's walked through them. We had that question about him for a couple years that he does get hit. One of these times somebody's going to catch him with something. He usually he don't want to say rolls with him or anything, but they're always, he gets out of the way enough and then gets inside and does his thing. And I just don't think it's going to be any different here, man. Khabib's going to end up on top, and Khabib's going to be smashing on Dustin. And I just hope we don't see one of those beatings that Khabib puts on a dude, that he doesn't completely take him out of there and just smashing on him for 15, 20 minutes. Don't want to see that happen to Dustin. I think it's going to happen, but I just don't want to see it to that extent. And I like Khabib big in this fight, man. I just don't. How at this point can you go against a guy that is that's undefeated and beating the kind of guys that he's beaten? I don't see how you go against him. He's going to win here. He's going to win big. And he's on the road to cementing himself as just an all-time great fighter in this sport. And we should appreciate him while he's here. Could be big for me.
Confident West. New Sean.
Just something on the last fight. I also have Barboza by decision for half unit at plus 300. I think that is a crazy line. As for this fight, it's hard not to be confident in Khabib. There is some things that holds me back from going too big. I've pretty much bet against Poirier, I think, in the last 3 fights, so I'm kind of sick and tired of losing money for him. Obviously, this is a different matchup. Poirier has never really faced a wrestler even close to Khabib. He has got taken down a couple times. Eddie Alvarez took him down once. Jim Miller took him down once. So he doesn't have bulletproof takedown defense, and that's pretty much what you need against Khabib. Poirier does have big power. Whether he can land it, that's a different story. It's hard not to see Khabib just not winning a decision here. I've been getting so many main events wrong that maybe I'm just double guessing myself or something like that. So I have a 1 unit play to close the mac and cheese parlay with Khabib at minus 104, and then I have a unit on Khabib by decision at plus 225. Not going huge. I think he does it in dominant fashion, just like he always does, but I'm a little timid from getting my ass kicked lately in a bunch of main event fights that I've been getting wrong.
That happens. I got Dustin Poirier an A.
I got Khabib Nurmagomedov, a rare A++. Again, he's the elite of the elite. His offensive takedown average is as good as anyone's in MMA. His striking differential is as good as anyone in MMA. Dustin's an interesting fighter because he's been on such a roll. He's going to come in this fight with extreme confidence. He's, again, just a tough fighter. Improved since moving to lightweight. But Khabib is different than any other fighter has ever faced. And it becomes an absolute struggle for guys to defend takedowns. And if they are able to defend takedowns, they got to deal with uncomfortable takedown attempts, maybe even. I'm not even really sure. It's just a tough situation for Dustin Poirier. He struggled when he gets when he gets pushed against the wall. We've seen it in the Eddie fight. We've seen it in some other grappling centric fights like against Cub Swanson. He's just not the same guy. The difference, Poirier certainly has a lot of power, or more power since moving up to lightweight. But if he's not going to be given a chance to use it, especially early on, the fight really swings to Khabib. And I think if this goes outside of the first round, I think this is Khabib's fight easily to win. So I like Khabib as these other guys do. It just missed the cut for a bet, but Khabib's the guy, even at 5-1.
He actually just dropped 20 cents on dimes, but his points handicap is definitely going to be parlayable. Like that points handicap.
Yeah, it should be like
minus
minus 200, and it should roll.
Roll home, yeah. Because I think we see a couple 10-8 rounds in this fight, personally.
Certainly possible.
He gets them. Who gets 10-8 rounds like Khabib in this sport now?
Not with the frequency this guy does.
Not like him. He's got some of the widest decisions you'll see in fights.
Certainly does. And we'll see what happens. That will do it for this week's show. Is there a show next week? It looks like
Cerrone versus Gaethje.
Yeah, we got like 12 weeks or something like that of straight fights. So
we also got the return of Todd Duffy
versus Jeff Hughes.
Fucking garage
and then the garage man is coming back to beat Krylov.
Yep, he's gonna do it too.
He's gonna do it. I'm gonna bet it too.
Yep. I got a little bit on the open, I guess it was right after open. I think he's like minus 105 or something like that.
Plus 115 now.
Oh, motherfucker, he went up some more.
People like the Krylov, so.
Damn, I'm gonna have to fucking put a little bit more on him. I got a little bit of my dude Jimmy Crute too at I believe minus 140 or something like that. Yeah, minus 145.
That went way up now. That's minus 230.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm just now seeing these again.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a rough card. I mean, Canada gets that, but I think all is saved because of the main event, and that's all we care about.
Top half of that card is gonna be fun, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's just not big names, right?
Yeah.
Until you get to the very top, and
that's gonna be fun.
Gaethje Cerrone is gonna be insane.
I think man, 6 fights down or so. All those are gonna there's madness potential there for sure.
Lots of action, just a little short on names. That's all.
Yep.
Who doesn't like madness?
It's true.
It's true. And that will do it for this week's show. Thanks for joining us, boys. Fans of the show, we appreciate it. We hope you continue to listen every week, and we'll be back with breaking down the Abu Dhabi card, and then breaking down what's going to be made and what's going to happen in Canada. Canadians rejoice as they get towards hockey season.
Fade Canada.
There you have it. Enjoy the fights.